Well, that changes different times of the year because they have the monsoon period when you have rain every day, not necessarily all day, but you're going to get wet sometime during the day. And during that period, in the evenings, and particularly if you're out in the jungle at night, especially if you're in the mountain area, it's going to get pretty darn cold. But during the rest of the time, it was amazingly hot and very humid. I think I was hotter most of the time than very few times I was very cool or cold, but it was extremely hot and humid.
During the hottest part of the year would be like our summers here. We would actually sleep in the bunkers that were made out of sandbags and steel, because that was a lot cooler than actually living in our tents and in those hardback hooches. But like Hank said, it got pretty cold over there, and if it's like 50 degrees and you're wet, you're very uncomfortable. That picture you're seeing right there is a tent that we slept in the Quang Tree area. The water table was so high you couldn't dig very deep to dig a bunker, so we had to put blast walls around our tents, and this would keep any shrapnel or mortar rounds flying all over the tent area. All those sandbags had to be filled by hand.
Go ahead, Jim.
If I could just follow up, I think most people find it hard to believe, but I always tell people the coldest I've ever been was in Vietnam. The temperature was the high 60s or low 70s, but I'd been wet for a couple days on this fire base, and somehow I couldn't get warm, and it was just so wet, so humid, as the others explained, that once you got cold, it was very, very hard to get warm, and that's the coldest I've ever been is in Vietnam. But not many people believe that story. So.
On the Air Force bases where we had the planes parked, we had the planes parked in what they call revetments. They were steel walls that were filled with sand, and they were approximately 5 feet thick. And those were made to, in the event of a mortar attack, if one plane was hit, it wouldn't destroy the rest of the planes. Well, inside of that revetment, there was no air moving, and you had this direct sun bearing down on the concrete that it was setting on. And it wouldn't be unusual that the temperature in there would be 120 to 125 degrees. So it was extremely uncomfortable working inside of those revetments.